Hi guys, welcome to my coffee show. My name is Jack and today we are talking about this Formula coffee scale from MHW-3BOMBER. I will talk about my experience with this coffee scale, how does it work, and by the end of this video you should be able to make your own decision. Is this a coffee scale right for you? First of all, big thank you to MHW-3BOMBER for sending us this coffee scale. I will put the links in the description. You will also find my discount code there. If you want to use it, you can get the products a bit cheaper and I may earn some small commission, so it's a win-win, great way to support the channel. The scale comes in this no-nonsense box. Inside the box, apart from the scale, you will also find that silicone pad that protects against the heat, and you will also find the charging cable, USB-C cable. By the way, in the manual they say you should not use fast charging cables. The scale comes in two colors, black or white. I think it looks good. I've seen better looking scales, I've seen worse looking scales. It is light, it weighs 285 grams. The dimensions of the scale, something that you may find important: 15.5 centimeters long, 13 centimeters wide and 3 centimeters deep. So that's something that you need to think about. Check your machine. Certain machines, they have a very little space. It might be too big for you. I had some issues while using it on my Descent, but I will come back to that later. On the back of the scale, on the protective silicone bit, there is a place for the charging cable, and you also have a physical switch here. So you move it into the middle, that turns the scale on, and if you move that switch all the way to the other side, that also turns the sound on. They say that the top of the scale is waterproof, but obviously you should not submerge it into the water. If you have some water or coffee spillage on top, I would recommend to wipe it off immediately. On the other side of the scale you have a touch screen. What I really like about this screen, it's the angle. So when you brew your coffee, from the perspective of the barista, you can clearly see exactly the weight and the time and so on. On my expensive coffee scale that I normally use, you have to look directly on top to see the readings. So especially when I'm brewing a pour over, sometimes it's difficult to notice what's going on because the carafe is obscuring the view. The coffee scale is very accurate, it's very responsive. I had some cheap coffee scales in the past and it was always frustrating because the delay was huge. It weighs things between 0.3 grams up to 2 kg. If you want to weight the coffee bin by bin, it might not register it immediately because one bin is around 0.1 gram. When you turn it on, the screen lightens up and you will see two numbers on the screen. On your right hand side, that's a timer. On your left hand side, that will be the weight. If you are new to the coffee hobby, those two are some of the most important things when you make a coffee. To turn the timer on, you press the T button. To stop it, you press it again, and to come back to 0, you press and hold for 2 seconds. On your left you will have a picture of the plane. What it does in that normal mode, you put, let's say, container on top and you want to tear it. You may notice there is a slight delay, so when I press the button, the beep noise comes immediately, but the reaction slightly delayed. I would recommend to use this scale with that sound on, because otherwise you might not be sure. Have I pressed it? Maybe I mistouched it. So that's a normal mode, something you know from every other coffee scale around. But this is a smart coffee scale. This is not a regular coffee scale. So there are two smart modes, one for espresso and one for pour over. When I first read about those modes, I thought it will be something awesome. When I tried them, I think I still like them, but there are a few big buts here. To turn the smart mode, you have to double tap quickly on the plane. First you will see the icon of something that looks kind of like V60, and that's the brew mode. And when you do it again, you will see something that resembles a tamper. So that's the espresso mode. Let's start with the pour over. I'm going to use 15 grams of coffee here. I'm using this R3 blade coffee grinder. By the way, probably next week I will review that grinder. I may as well use the complete pour-over set from MHW-3BOMBER here. If someone likes MHW-BOMBER logo, they will love this carafe. Now, first of the quirks of this coffee scale, it turns itself off after 2 minutes of not using, which is great for saving the battery. But if you're in that smart mode, sometimes it's not that smart because it might take a bit longer than 2 minutes to prepare everything, and then you have to start kind of from the beginning. I put the coffee in. I double press the T button now. Now you see the numbers on the left side, they change a little bit. So there's 1 at the beginning and then 0.0.0. At this stage, if you want, you can change the position of the carafe. You can distribute the coffee a bit better. It won't affect the readings. Now we will start the pouring process. When you pour the first few drops, the coffee scale will detect that something is going on. The timer will go on, so you will see it on your right, but on the left you will see some strange readings. And that's another quirk of this coffee scale. It does not show the weight of the water. It shows the ratio. Once the brewing is over, you take the V60 from the carafe. That will send a signal to the scale. The brewing is over, it will stop the timer, and then, just then, it will show you the amount of water. At first I didn't like that process. It was a bit confusing. I like to sometimes use complicated recipes. I mean complicated, I do 5 pours. And then you have to do that mental mathematics. Think about the ratio and then kind of calculate how much water I put in. On the website you can find that note here. The use of proportions makes you more relaxed. Vodka makes me more relaxed. This was a bit annoying at first. Talking about annoying things, once I start brewing, I like to agitate the coffee. I like to pick up the V60 or a flat bottom brewer, just swirl it a little bit. Once you pick it up, it will send the signal that the brewing is over, so you cannot do that. Maybe you will use the spoon or something. Let's explore the second mode. That's the espresso mode. You weight your coffee. 18 grams of coffee is not enough for me, so I go for 20. Now, once you have your coffee grinded, put the portafilter on the scale, zero it, transfer the coffee into the portafilter, do the pack prep. Just remember, you have that 2 minutes to prepare the pack, otherwise the scale will turn itself off. So quickly WDT, we can use the leveler, although normally I skip this part. And then I use this impact tamper. I have a video about that. I really like this tamper. That's one of the best products from MHW-3BOMBER. Then you put that portafilter on the scale again. You double press the T button. That will send a signal to the scale that the brewing process is almost at the beginning. Now you position the scale underneath your coffee machine. This is not a Bluetooth scale, so it cannot connect with the Decent. Decent requires a Bluetooth scale and then it works really nicely. So here you have to operate everything manually. The coffee scale is slightly too big, so it does not fit nicely underneath the machine. So you lock the portafilter. Here I will be pulling a Londinium style shot. Before the brewing process starts, you can adjust your cups underneath the way you like and reposition it. Once the coffee scale detects the first drops, it will turn the timer on. That's one of my complaints here. I like to start the timer from the moment the coffee is in contact with water. And again, it won't show the weight of the coffee, it will show the ratio. So today everything went smoothly, the readings were accurate. With my Decent, at the very beginning, before the extraction even starts, the machine vibrates and it makes a tap, 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 tap. Sometimes what happens is that vibration is recognized by the scale as the beginning of extraction, even though the coffee is not in a contact with water. And then once the vibration stops at the very beginning of extraction, it may send a signal to the scale that the brewing process is over. Happened a few times, something you need to be aware. I contacted MHW-3BOMBER about that. They said that if possible, make sure that the coffee scale is not in contact with the main body of the machine. On MHW-3BOMBER website you can find the kind of extension to the coffee scale, so you can position it, let's say, underneath the water tray here, and then the scale is on top of the water tray. Obviously if you have a machine with, let's say, rotary pump or lever machine, you won't have that issue whatsoever. By the way, MHW-3BOMBER, they produce a great looking lever machine. It would be great to test it at some point. And obviously if you're not happy with that espresso mode, you can use that manual mode where you start the timer by yourself. So my final conclusions: if you have a spare $200, this is a better coffee scale. But if you are a sane person, maybe you are looking for your first coffee scale. Maybe you are looking for something to travel with. Maybe you are looking for something to take to your office. This is well worth considering. The functionality of this scale, the responsiveness of this scale is very good. Yes, it has few quirks when you think about those smart modes, but you can get used to it. So as long as you don't need something very small with the Bluetooth, you may consider this one as a much cheaper alternative. $50 $2, even cheaper with my discount code. Try to find something better for the price. In the comments, please share with us what coffee scale do you use. Maybe you try this one. What is your experience using it? Plenty more things coming, but for today, thank you very much for watching. My name is Jack, this is my coffee show, and hopefully I will see you soon. Thank you, bye!